some of your biggest lessons are in the middle of the fears that you're probably trying to avoid. Hey everyone, this is Sean Smith, and in this video, we're gonna dissect fear. I'm gonna talk about how to overcome it, how to manage it, or how to eliminate it completely, depending on what type of fear it is. And what I really wanna do is attack the idea that fear is false evidence appearing real. That's one of the absolute worst statements that you can believe. I know it's this sexy thing that a lot of people like to put on memes, and it will completely restrict you and paralyze you in your ability to actually change your relationship to fear. I think everybody knows how damaging and destructive fear is in our relationships, in our ability to make money, certainly in our coaching business. So take a listen to this whole conversation, and I guarantee it will help you create more freedom in your life and business. If I had to boil all of personal development down to one thing, this would be it. Because the reasons that we don't do things in our lives is because of fear. I mean, almost everything can come down to fear of some kind. Personal development is not a line to cross. Personal development is a journey that you sign up for, and then you buckle your seatbelt and stay on the ride. The key here is, if you sign up for this personal development journey, you got to know what you're signing up for. You have to understand that this journey is going to be bumpy. This journey is going to have uncertainty. This journey is going to have doubt. It's going to have fear, because that's the process. See, what most people are doing, I think this is one of the biggest mistakes in personal development. What most people are doing is they think step number one is to get rid of all the fears, get rid of all the discomfort. And then step number two, get into motion and take a bunch of action. That's not the way it works. It never has worked that way, ever. But it's the way our brain wants it to work. But if you understand the only way to remove some of these fears that I'm going to dive into here in this video is through motion. And a realization that I've had recently, and I've been talking about and really dissecting recently, is that I would say in the personal development world, especially any of you that want to be coaches, teachers, trainers, authors, any of you that want to share a message with the world, the idea of sharing a message with the world is terrifying to the insecurities that we've pretty much all been trying to cover up and overcompensate for. So most of us have a fear of visibility when it comes to sharing our message. It's not actually a fear of not having the right marketing funnels or not having the right message or being able to speak well in public, or the fear of not being a good speaker. Those are all manifestations of a fear of visibility. So this is a common fear. Not only is it common, I would say your brain is not working right if you don't have it. Your brain is not working right to protect you if you don't have a fear of visibility to some degree. Because that fear of visibility is sensitivity, because you give a damn. You give a damn, and I don't ever want you to stop giving a damn. So if you give a damn about your message and about helping people, there will be a piece of your brain that says, I don't know if I have the body for that yet. I don't know if I have the message for that yet. I don't want to mess this up because it's so important to me. So I don't want you to remove the ingredient called give a damn that's in the recipe that creates so many of our fears. I just want you to understand it and still sign up for it. That's what I want you all to tell me right now. If you understand that the road is going to be bumpy, but you still sign up for it, that could be the most important declaration you ever make. I know it's going to be bumpy. I know I'm going to have to confront myself. I know I'm going to get into fears. I know I'm going to doubt myself. I know it's not going to look the way I hope it looks. I know I will try and it's not going to meet my expectations. I know people are going to judge me, and I sign up for it anyway, because not sharing my message is not a better option. Not sharing my message is not an option. If you can get to the point where not doing this work, whatever the work is for you, not doing this work is not an option, then you'll be able to embrace everything that journey brings for you. So let's get deeper into fear right now. We have to understand how fear works in totality, in its entirety. But we have to also understand that each one of our fears operates differently. So you can't just turn the switch off of fear. If you could, you would be dead inside of 24 hours. Like literally, I'm not joking about that. You would be dead because fear is a protective energy. And so if you turn off your fear, then you just turned off all of your protection. And we, of course, we don't want to do that, nor can we do that. So you have to understand how fear operates in general, but then you have to also understand that your individual fears will probably need to be addressed one by one. So you can't just say, oh, I'm going to get rid of my fear of speaking and then have your fear of intimacy and relationships go away also. Because the fears are created for different reasons, and they're created in different seasons, and they're created to protect us from different dangers and different threats. So you can't just take one solution and drop the protective mechanisms for all these different threats, nor do you want to. So what a lot of us are trying to do is we're trying to remove the protection just because we want to, just because we think that if we could remove our fears, then we'd go out and we'd share our message. Then we would open ourselves up for a relationship. Then we would go out and speak our truth. We think that if we could get rid of the protection, then we could take action. That's not the way it works. You can't get rid of the protection that's designed to stop you from feeling a pain and then just go out. Because if you get rid of the protection, but you keep the pain, your brain will not go, oh, okay, well, let's just take this pain and put it on stage now. Let's just take this pain that hasn't been healed yet, and let's go ahead and let the world see it. That's not the way it works. You have to convince yourself not to drop the protection. You have to convince yourself that you no longer need protecting. That's the key. It's our brain that convinces us that we need to be protected. It's our soul that knows this sacred message doesn't need protection, because this sacred message is not something that's up for other people's judgment and other people's approval. That's not why it's put inside of us. But the brain says we need to always impress people. We don't want them to not like us. So therefore, we need everything to work. We need everything to be perfect. And that's how our fears get created. That's how the protection gets created, because once upon a time, we told ourselves or we noticed something that happened in our life, and the brain says, oh, I'm going to protect you from that. So let me dive into this idea that fear is false evidence appearing real. This is one of the most dangerous concepts of personal development. This is dangerous, to believe that fear is false evidence appearing real. I understand the concept, and it's super sexy. It's got a cool acronym. Millions of people have heard it. A lot of people use it in their affirmations, and it's dangerous. Here's why it's dangerous. Because it ain't false. Fear is not false. Fear is valid. So if you get up and you're going to speak on stage, let's say, and you feel this fear showing up in your body, and you convince yourself that it's false, the next time you come up on stage, the fear is going to show up in your body, because it ain't false. It's in your body. There's a reason that our bodies respond when we are confronted with a threat. That reason is not false. It's not fake. It's real. And we cannot go on this personal development journey denying what's real and then try to heal. You can't heal while denying what's real. In order to heal it, you got to feel it. If we're talking about embodied fears, denial is not the way to dissolve them. Embracing is the way to dissolve them. We first have to embrace the concept of how fears are created, and then we just have to notice, whoa, when I get in this scenario, my body lights up. When I think about this thing, my body lights up. I want you to think of fear as your body lighting up its protection when it feels a threat, when it feels something dangerous in the environment. That's the only reason that the body would light up. So then instead of you trying to turn the light off, I want you to remove the danger. That's the key. Because then there's no need to light up. And hopefully this is landing for you guys, because if you, like most people are spending the majority of their time trying to manage the fear. And I'm telling you, with so many of our fears, there's a way to dissolve it to where it doesn't have to be managed. So what do you want more? Do you want to learn management techniques? Or do you want to do the work that will remove the need for the fear? And then you don't need to manage anything because it's not there. That's what we're talking about here. Now, I know this is the deeper work, and I'm not going to give you any kind of cool, sexy acronym that you could just put on a meme on social media. You could just put on a quote on your board and just make it go away. One of the reasons that affirmations, for most people, now I don't care what you do, I just care that it works, right? So I'm not saying that affirmations don't work, but what I'm saying is that for the people that it doesn't work for, the reason is because that's not how you created the fears. You didn't show up when you were 4 years old. You're like, you know what? I think I want to become a perfectionist, and then write an affirmation on your wall. I am a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist. That's not the way the fear was created, so it's not going to be the way the fear is uncreated. And when affirmations work, they only work because the work is actually done. But for most people, this intellectual solution does not solve the emotional problem. So fear is not false evidence appearing real. Fear is real evidence presenting you with a lesson to learn. You get up on stage, your body lights up, you start not being able to breathe, you start forgetting everything that you had all prepared. It's because your body just said, danger, danger, danger. What I want you to do is observe the danger signs. Observe what your brain is telling you, because that's the lesson that you need to learn. You need to learn the lesson of the threat that just caused your body to light up. As coaches, when I help people deal with fears one-on-one, I'm always asking, what is your mind telling you? Right then, right where it happened, what did your brain say? What was the last thought you had? And it's some version of, what if I mess up? Or what if they don't like me? Or what if I get hurt again in my relationship? What if I actually am not lovable, not good enough? That's the brain going, danger, danger. And then the fear says, oh, danger, protect, protect, protect. The fear is a protective response to the existence of the threat. The mind is what observes the threat, and then the fear shows up to protect it. Here's why that's so critical. Your fear is not against you. Your fear is not an obstacle. Your fear protects you out of love. I mean, why would anything protect another thing? Because of love. So we're not going to overpower our fears that were designed out of love with anger. We're not going to overpower our fears that have love as the fabric in the ingredients with shame. We're not going to overpower that love with more fear. We're not going to overpower that love with even motivation. We're not going to overpower that love with anything other than love that overpowers the need to protect. So if we have a wall based on love to protect us at this level, we need to increase the love and prove to this protective wall that we don't need to be protected, because the love, our message, our sacred entity, our soul, our spirit is bigger than the threats anyway. That's what we need to do to remove the need for protection. Hopefully this is landing for you. Please let me know if it is. Please let me know if you have any questions about this, because this is not the way most people think. They got to get over their fears. Most people are just wrestling with the existence of fears, and I want you to remove the need for the fears. And if all you do is just keep powering through the warning signs, you'll never learn the lesson underneath the warning signs. So my invitation to you, this is my takeaway for you. My takeaway for you is to embrace the existence of fear, so much so that you start to seek it out. Don't be afraid of the fears. Go looking for it. Turn the flashlight on. Where are you? Ollie, Ollie, oxen free. Come out wherever you are. Why? Because some of your biggest lessons are in the middle of the fears that you're probably trying to avoid. So if you're trying to avoid certain fears, and the fears are one of those purpose packages that I talked about in another video, well then you're also avoiding the lessons. You're denying the lessons because you're denying the fears that the lessons are inside of. That takes one of those declarations I said a moment ago. I know this ain't going to be easy. I know this is going to be a bumpy road, but I sign up for it anyway because my purpose is worth it. And then you start going after those fears. Seek them out. We're not controlled by anything that we seek out. We're only controlled by the things that we try to deny and we hope they never show up. That's why fear has such a grip on most of us, because we don't ever challenge our fears and we're afraid that they'll show up. I want you to start calling them forward. And the way you do that is you just open up your awareness and look for them. Where are these fears? And I promise you, your body will calm down at least around the existence of the fears. Your fears will still light you up because they're embodied. They're actually literally in our bodies. But your relationship to fears, to the idea of fears, or the meaning that you might have been placing on the fears, like having a fear doesn't mean you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you're even not ready. I would say the presence of fear means you are ready to take whatever that next step is. Otherwise, the fear wouldn't be showing up. It's like you can't see the stop sign or the stop light a mile down the road because you're not there yet. But when you take that journey for a mile down that road in that direction, then the stop sign shows up, or then the stoplight shows up, because now you're ready to cross through the intersection. So our fears only show up when we're ready to take that next step. Don't take that as a stop sign. Understand it's just a slight warning sign, the way our body is holding on to it, but in reality it's a go sign. It's a sign that you're close. It's a sign to lean in, and it's a sign to keep going. So I want you to open yourself up to the awareness of your fears, and then I want you to observe, what was the thought just before the fear showed up? What was the thought just before? That thought has the key to your liberation. It's not a scary one. It's an opportunity to literally release you from the need for protection. So that's what I want you to share with me over the course of the next day, over the course of the next week as you keep getting it. But I want you to capture the question or capture the thought just before the fear lit you up. So fear is not false evidence appearing real. Fear is real evidence with a lesson to learn. And if you want to learn the lessons that you need for the next level of your journey, you got to go searching and embracing your fear. Now, if you like this video, take a look at that video, which is a different type of fear. It's about how to overcome imposter syndrome as a coach. So people are afraid if they find out, then they might not like me, but that's not really what it is. What it is if they find out, they will dismiss me.